Hey team, this is Mrs. Velasquez. Welcome to week 8. Happy fall. I have my chai tea recording this video tonight. I just want to welcome you to week number 8 and remind you that it's hard to believe with the first day of fall. We are now T minus now 9 more days till the end of first quarter. So it's true what they say, time flies when you're having fun. So I'm noticing a lot of people are still catching up from week 7. One thing I want to clarify is I did get several emails about looking at the inner monologue for the Enlightenment philosophers. So remember, this is something that requires one of those skills that our district is striving towards, right? Looking at that creativity, more so than just reading quotes or information about these philosophers. Really, it requires a different level of thinking to actually pretend you were that philosopher and not just necessarily repeat this is what they believed, but really identify with that first person. This is what I think freedom should look like. I believe people can be trusted to be part of the government. Women should be included into government, so ... Okay. So please keep in mind, I did also get some questions in regards to showing your face on the Flipgrid. Ideally, you're showing your face, right? It is an e-learning class, so we want to see your face and we want to sort of see you in character. If you're looking for a creative angle, I know one person, shot a journal. For this particular project, I don't necessarily have to have that, but I would be nice. I didn't spell it out, so I'm not going to grade you down for this one, but I am definitely going to be listening for how do you become that philosopher, and are you incorporating the ideas in which you research for the Enlightenment Hyperdoc, as well as our other assignments for the week. Finally, before I turn also over to week number 8, I also want to remind you that due to Schoology not posting correctly, I didn't get a chance to post 7.5, which was the Scientific Revolution and Enlightenment quiz. So I'm going to push that. That's one less assignment on your list as you're wrapping up for tonight. All right, let's go ahead and dive into week number 8, which is going to focus on our Enlightenment DBQ. Now, for some of you that have worked with DBQs before, I know a lot of our junior high schools within the district have practiced with DBQs. So DBQ is just an abbreviation that stands for document-based question, in which we're going to analyze different primary source documents and sort of develop a response using evidence and using argumentative language to basically argue or address the question. In this case, the driving question, which we'll present shortly, is what was the main idea of the Enlightenment philosophers? Now, before we dive in, I also just want to sort of promote how essential the DBQ is for our discussion. For again, reminder, this is an honors online class, and for a lot of you, you have hopes, of course, next year transitioning back possibly to, if comes about, an AP online U.S. history course or seat-based AP APUSH course. So to be successful in any advanced course, whether it's APUSH or any of your AP coursework, you definitely need to understand historically how to organize, how to annotate, how to cite for a DBQ analysis. All right, so this first one we're going to walk us through slow. I have prepared some lectures that are basically going to walk you through the initial analysis of the documents. As we get further along, I'll sort of pull back those training wheels in hopes that you'll learn to kind of navigate through how to annotate a text and also, of course, develop your written essay response. I also advise for this one particular assignment, it would be very beneficial, I think, for students to have a copy of the DBQ packet. So when I show you in just a moment, there is a link to actually take a look at the packet. If you have access to printing, this would be the one assignment that I would recommend, because a lot of students find it very easier, especially if you're taking notes from the flipped lecture, to write directly on the documents, to highlight on the documents. So it might be the investment for this particular assignment. All right, so let's go ahead and click in week number 8. So week number 8, just an overview. Okay, keep in mind 8.1, we'll just have our calendar and our reflection forms. And then we'll take it to 8.2. Now 8.2 is where you actually access the DBQ packet. So when you click on here, it will take you to a site and you pull up a PDF. So it is 5 pages, so that's why I said it is an investment to print your own copy. Okay, as you scroll through, you can see at the top of the DBQ, you're going to find the driving question, basically the purpose of how we're going to approach these documents and what ultimately you're going to create for your written response. Okay, so just kind of scrolling through, you can see that there's documents in this case. It gives you a general overview. Now, this is all taken or tied to our discussion of the Enlightenment in week 7. You also see, I just want to make note right off the gate that there's actually 4 documents for this DBQ. I actually cut document C from this DBQ just because I feel like Adam Smith, we're going to talk about him with our discussion of the Industrial Revolution. So for this first one, I just really want to focus your attention on those political philosophers that we introduced. Okay, so you can see right here, we have a set of primary sources. There are some questions to address. You keep scrolling down here, and that will be it. All right, so if you go back to 8.2, okay, you can see in 8.2, what you'll be doing is to listen to a flip lecture. Okay, you want to click here, and you'll go ahead and read over the background essay as well as document A. For the first document, just to make sure we're on the same page, I am asking for initial post. So after you approach the background essay in document A, I'm going to ask that you do go ahead and post on the discussion board. Okay, 1, what was Locke's main idea? And then choose one specific evidence or quote from the document and provide one or two sentences to support that main idea. So learning how to collect evidence, right? Thinking like a historian. So thinking about what we can use to actually prove, what was John Locke's perspective on rights, liberties, government, democracy, freedom, or what have you. All right, so that will be kind of what we'll approach from 8.2. If we go back to week 8 and then we take a look at 8.3, okay, similar process. I'm going to have you continue on and you'll be watching flip lectures for document B, which is going to address our philosopher Voltaire, as well as document D, which is going to look at Mary Wollstonecraft. Okay, so same process. For this one, I'm not requiring a post, but I would definitely recommend at the top of each document, or again, if you're not printing in your notebook, you should still be able to pull at least one quote, one citation to definitely prove why you think Voltaire's main idea is blank based on the evidence that you find in the documents. Okay. After that, we're going to take it to 8.4. 8.4, we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to what I call a little evidence explanation teamwork. So if you read over the directions, you're going to see that you will be placed with a partner. Okay, so it's really essential that to be fair to your classmates, right? For some of you, perhaps you're not logging in on a daily basis or maybe taking advantage of doing your coursework during the week as per needed. So for this one, I really encourage you to be respectful to your classmates. And as you do team up with each other, you're going to find that you're going to share one document. Okay, so partner A will download a copy of the evidence explanation. Okay, and you'll need to share it with the other partner. Okay, so this is the document, the template you'll be working with. And you can see right here, again, the different boxes have spaces for you guys to work on pulling evidence, direct quotes, or if you choose to do so, you may paraphrase kind of in general, what did Voltaire have to say about blank. If you are quoting directly from the document to avoid plagiarism, copyright, you want to make sure you're putting in quotation marks, and you definitely want to make sure you're citing at the end of the document, parentheses, document A in that case, or what have you, okay? Then also notice that there's a box on the opposite side that says evidence, but the second box says explanation elaboration. So this is where you're going to use your argumentative reasoning and explanation to really show the connection of how that evidence is going to prove your Enlightenment philosopher's main idea. Okay, so this is coming directly from the document. This is coming from your own brain, your own analysis, your own prior knowledge to develop that. Okay, so you can see each one has boxes, and for full credit on this first DBQ essay, I am asking for 2 pieces of evidence. Okay, so with 2 partners, 2 powers combined, 2 quotes, they must be different, and 2 explanations there. Okay, you scroll a little farther down, okay, it has some sort of the template kind of here. I can fix the format there. But you can see I've also posted the names of the partners. So I try to make it a little easier. I just highlighted your names in colors. So you can see that Kevin and Ariana are working together, Esmeralda and Cassandra, Cynthia and Daniel, Ruby and Jana. We have Logan and Alexandra, Andrew and Emily, Julissa and Natalie, Amy and Anthony, Zulette and Astrid, Kimberly and Ronald, Miss Perla and Stephanie, Lucas, as well as Owen, Ivan and Ariana, and Alan and Magali. I think I got everybody, but please call to my attention if I missed you off the list, okay? So for example, right here, Amy and Anthony, you're right across from each other. So partner A will be Amy, and then partner B will be Anthony, okay? Partner A will be Ruby, so Ruby will be partner A. She'll download or save a copy of that document to her drive, and they'll share it over here to Miss Jana, okay? Now you're also going to see this spreadsheet that I pulled from actually has the links to your Flipgrids. So as we wrap up the quarter next week, each of you will have your own Flipgrid, and I'm going to give you directions on that. That will be a private discussion, so no other student in the class will be able to view that. Okay, so the links are provided, however, you must access it with your student ID number as well as a special password. Okay, so I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but that will be kind of what we're wrapping up next week for our end of the quarter reflection. Okay. All right, so that will be our assignment for 8.4. Okay, and then last but not least, we'll actually take it to writing the DBQ. Okay, the DBQ will be 8.5, and in this case, you'll be writing a DBQ Google Slides. Okay, so we're just doing introductory level. Okay, so we're just hitting the basics in this case. You do have two options on this DBQ, which is kind of fun. I like to give students options. You can tell in this case, my main focus for this first DBQ is to understand what a DBQ is, walk you through the process, okay, be able to navigate the primary sources, annotate, pull evidence, and pulling that evidence, your two options are as follows. Okay, option one, you and your partner will create a traditional Google Slides. Okay, so almost like a 5-paragraph essay, you will have 5 Google Slides. Okay, you will use the 3 Enlightenment philosophers, and each paragraph will basically be contained on the slide. Okay, body paragraphs will show evidence of the document analysis, okay, using that chart as well as an argument. Okay, so I posted a sample right here and kind of get the structure. You don't have to use this exactly. Let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger there. Okay, let's see. Does that help? Okay. So the Enlightenment philosophers, you're going to see you'll have your first slide, write your introduction. Okay, I know a lot of you in your honors English classes, you already have strategies, right, to write introduction. Okay, so I gave you some just reminders. You always want to start off with a hook, an attention grabber, something that's going to really grab your reader's attention. I caution you to start off with asking the basic question. I feel like that's, level 1. Being advanced, you definitely don't want to just start off the essay, hey, have you ever wanted to know about the Enlightenment philosophers? Because my answer is no. Okay, so you got to be a little bit clever there, whether you pull a quote like I provided the sample or something that will sort of guide your reader in. The other thing I want to remind you, even just with that sample I gave you, you never want to use first-person writing in a DBQ. So I know in English class, right, it's very common to connect with your reader and, hey, would you like to know more about, or how do you feel? This is how I feel. In historical writing, almost like with your history book, right, they're not going to tell you, we think this was a bad event. They're just going to sort of write it in third person, state it as facts, as the most tragic or the most significant. Okay, you're going to provide a little bit of background, which you already have from week 7. You're going to restate the driving question, and then you'll have your theme or your main idea in that case. All right? Then you'll take it over to, this sort of gives you a structure of the outline, gives you a sample. Okay, so you can see right there, it's just basically giving you a guideline to kind of walk you through option 1. Okay, option 2 is a fun one as well. Okay, I had a lot of students have, again, the creativity, right, something outside the box. So option 2 is creating an Enlightenment main idea endorsement. So create a Google Slides essay. You will use 2 Enlightenment philosophers, okay? Now in this case, you'll have 4 slides or 4 paragraphs